We shall be starting very soon. Players are getting in their seats as we speak. Hi everyone, I am joined here by... You always change your name on me. What are you going by these days?
It's still just Bloodfist, it's fine.
Bloodfist?
Alright, so here we are. So we're starting out our top card event. So we've got Thomas Finnegan versus Nathan Cross. I am actually legitimately excited for this matchup for a very specific reason.
Oh, what is that?
Well, Tom's using a deck that we've been working on quite a lot.
Yeah, this is your spirit child almost.
If you've never seen this deck before, you're going to have a blast watching it. It's actually legitimately dangerous.
Well, I remember losing my mind every time I saw your prototypes of this.
There we go. So we're opening up with a Porum. Pretty strong start, but with the deck it's not ideal. Just double check, that's actually a Go-Go that's been pitched. And speaking of Go-Go, so that is actually the Opus 4 Go-Go, where it actually gets to copy the base ability, so Haste, First Strike, and Brave of any card that's already in the break zone. But that was straight off the bat. We've got a Brynhilda EX Burst to take out the Porum.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
And then we've got a hit to take out the
Ami gone at least.
Yeah.
Ami off the...
And then another Crystal to generate. Straight in with the Noctis.
And by the way, people are wondering, no backups is normal.
Yes, this deck only runs 3 backups.
And they're the same one.
They are all the same backup. So in this particular game, it's not so much about where's all of Tom's cards. It's more the fact that he's just hasn't really seen them. So there's the Merwib. That's the only backup that's in the deck to search for that Golbez there. Now that we've actually shown the Golbez, the idea behind the deck is to play that Golbez and then just play a free forward every single turn. And in for another point of damage, there goes a blue worm.
So I think the only real disadvantage is not being able to play the Golbez almost immediately, like you normally hope to, or do you wait a turn for the backup?
So it depends on the circumstances of the card. If you've got it straight away, you tend to play it straight away. If you you don't necessarily mind waiting for a turn just to see what your opponent's doing, because then you can sort of figure out, do I go all in with this card or do I just wait patiently? But we've got a couple of goblins in play for Nathan here.
I'm loving this goblin deck, I'll be honest.
It does look incredibly...
5 different versions and they all look really, really good.
Yeah, I've actually faced it in the Swiss. That's because it is really, really good.
You also got one of your mates there.
Forget about him. All right, so we're going in with the Golbez. So before, this is where Glaciella does her thing, and then can't really attack. So as a pass the turn, Glaciella is incredibly dangerous as a card.
Yeah.
It's really scary. I think. Oh, and that's basically going to end the game there with the free Venera play. Because as much fun as the...
didn't use it. I don't think he needed to, actually.
He didn't really need to.
Yeah.
Like, we're just searching for more goblins here. And at this point, any single forward is going to die to those goblins. So it didn't
So
really
Noctis is
matter.
probably never going to be triggered.
Noctis will never really be triggered in this game. I think this is basically just a really unfortunate start for Tom here. Most of the time, you're aiming to get that turn 1 Golbez.
It is best of 3, so it's not completely out.
Yeah, that is very true. It is the best of 3.
And from what I hear, this would be, if this is the worst case scenario, this is the first loss of the day for the deck.
Absolutely. Tom has actually only taken 3 points of damage all day before this point in time. He's gone 6-0, and yeah, so that's just another crystal spend to get rid of the Cane, and then crack the 2 goblins, get rid of the Noctis.
Yeah,
realistically, at this point, there's not much of a game left to have, to be honest. Unfortunately,
especially with the dead hand, no hand, hellbent.
Yeah. So, and there's the Golbez deck is not running any EX bursts, so there's no real catch-up mechanic that it can rely on. It's just like things happened, and Nathan got off to a phenomenal start compared to honestly quite poor start from Tom here. So
The only way Nathan's start could be better if he had the Metal Orb into the Adamos if that deck runs it. I'm not sure if that shell runs that side of it. So
it doesn't really run it, but we're expecting. So we've got the Porum back in play. And at this point, it's just Brynhilda.
Dies, I was going to say, I don't think it's going to sit for long.
And then we've got 2 more attacks. That's 2 more points of damage. And then with nothing in hand for Tom, and another... Yeah,
just nail in coffin at this...
At this point, it's just another... It's a nail in the
nails,
coffin. Yeah. So there's really... Unfortunately, there's really not much that can be done at this point. It's just play another Noctis and...
which is horrible, because you don't want your light card in your hand at that point.
NATO ain't risking nothing. Yeah, he's
very
much.
Very tight with his plays.
Yeah, and there we go. So that's the first game done. A really unfortunate hit of the EX burst early on for Tom. If that EX burst didn't happen, it might have been a completely different story, because well,
that's a card less in hand in Nathan's hand, and it would have meant that if that Porum got high enough to do any effective work,
it would have gotten in there pretty cleanly, pretty easily.
It runs both twins?
It does run both twins as a playset of each. I was having a discussion with Tom about it. The idea behind that is that putting both twins into play basically means there's something else for people to target, because they want to try
luring away from your Golbez.
Exactly. But it's either you take the twins away and there's no free stuff, or you take the Golbez away and there's no free stuff. Like, the deck is designed to basically operate off of 0 CP.
And I think this matchup would be one of the hardest for the deck, I think.
It's one of the more difficult ones, purely because there's just so much so much efficient removal in fire, and
there's tutors at turn 1, 1 into 1 into 1 into 1.
Exactly. So the goblins just do a lot for.
Cool, this is
so we've got the turn 1 Merwib. Whether or not he plays the Golbez straight away is another story.
You always go for Golbez?
You almost always, but at this point in time, it depends on whether or not you're expecting to get swept out. Because, we've seen fire cards, we don't know whether or not we're playing against Susano at this stage, so probably the smarter call is to just pick up the Golbez and then pass. Wait to see what happens here. So
you've got to turn to wait. You don't want to waste that 1 CP by discarding an extra card. You might as well just take your time.
Exactly. There also might be the circumstance where Tom has a Noctis in his hand.
Oh, that hesitation. That's
straight into the Zande. That's very brave.
No value Zande and losing the
is incredibly brave. The only reason why I can think of for Nathan to do that is that if he wants to either get himself established as fast as possible, because he knows how quick this deck can go, but sacrificing the free Zande damage is probably a little bit more painful. So here we've got the Golbez, so we're flipping into Auron. That's a very good hit, because now we've got a Heat Magnet. Basically, it's a way for...
It's a protection. Golbez is protected by one.
Golbez is protected for a turn, and now we've got the Noctis. So the only reason that I can think about that would warrant that is playing a Susano here. But we're going for the Goblin.
He also did discard an Auron, so I think he saw Auron off the top and goes, I might as well get rid of the card I have on the field.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure if that's the most accurate play to ditch the Auron that you've already got. Personally, because Auron is designed as a heat magnet, you want it to get eaten, then you can play another one.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I wasn't sure how the deck runs.
Yeah. So we're going to Glaciella. So there's 2 crystals up now. Still not enough to kill both Auron and the Golbez, because you need you'd probably go...
You'd have to empty his hand, and both have to be water.
It's not just that as well, because the Glaciella deals 2k damage per character that you've got in play. With only 4 characters, you're only dealing 8k damage to a 9k Golbez.
Oh, it's a 9k. Sorry, I thought for some reason I was thinking it was an 8k one, that one.
So at this stage of the game, probably the best thing we can think of is probably just go straight to combat. But I can see, there we go, Mog. So Mog to draw a card. That Mog actually is really, really nice. It stops people from searching.
I like that.
So you can... And there we go, we just got a Tidus off the top. So that's just another crazily powerful threat. So going before we go to attacks,
looks like something.
Got some effects that are happening. So we're going to shoot the Auron, because we can.
Is meant to draw a card?
Yes, he is meant to draw a card on that one, so that's a miss, but that's okay.
May trigger, is it?
It is a must trigger for the Auron, I believe.
Need to intervene there at the moment.
But that's okay. So we're just getting that clarified up now. The Auron is a trigger to draw a card if there's a Guardian in play. That is not Auron, so in this particular case, we're just getting that cleared up now. So going for the steal on the Glaciella is actually really quite interesting. I can understand the logic behind it, because it sort of shuts out the ability to do any real Glaciella shenanigans. I'm not necessarily the play that I would have made, because now he gets to use the Goblins to search again, whereas Mog would have just prevented that from happening.
Maybe do it in response, especially because he had no crystals left. So you could have waited for later.
Absolutely. So without any crystals in play, but I can understand the logic. Like really low on cards in hand, has pitched a whole bunch of water CP to do Glaciella stuff. So you can just take the Glaciella straight away.
How did Tidus die?
Tidus died due to the Golbez sack to steal the Glaciella.
Okay, yeah. I just want to check if I didn't miss anything.
And that's what I was just mentioning now. It probably would have been more ideal to hang on to the board state, because even with...
you swinging into an empty field, you would have got 4 or 5.
Alright, so we're going to Amaterasu the Golbez trigger and use a Goblin to burn it away. So let me just swing with Glaciella. But Tom has got plenty of cards in hand, and Nathan doesn't really have that much of a board state. So at this particular stage, it's not really so much up in the air. So that is a Maquis the Phantasm. The only reason why that's in the deck is to stop forwards from entering active. So you can see there the Gao coming in dull.
But if he had the 4 forwards out before sacking the Golbez, he would have been swinging for practically lethal.
He would have been swinging for a lot of damage, but I can understand the logic behind it. So there's another Merwhip, so we can go searching for another Golbez. And there we have it. At this point, it's basically free to just go in for 2 points. Sure, the Gao becomes an 8k, but...
You're out racing.
In theory. Yep, so we just lose the Atmos there, and then going in and we lose a Hien. That's a very big hit for
Those are both
Nathan.
hits, yeah. Like, I would technically count the first as a big hit because Nathan was starving for backups and losing a crystal generator backup.
Absolutely.
Early was also a big hit, just like from the beginning. It was just clean hits.
He's actually just got not a lot of board state against a deck that can produce a whole lot. So there's another crystal, but he doesn't have any way to spend these crystals yet, since the Glaciella got stolen.
I assume there's probably still 2 more in the deck, unless he's discarded any.
Not as far as I've seen, but at this point it's basically just pitch the 2, play the Golbez,
Start the engine again.
and then we just get right back to where we were. And there's an Auron off the top as well,
Perfect.
so makes it so much cleaner. Can't really attack, he can party attack to get over the Gao, and then so crack and then take his own Glaciella back.
Yeah. Which is also kind of a lure because then you're leaving them with Marquise.
Not just that as well, the big thing here is that he can use Lena, which is what I'm expecting here, or just play Venera Fens. But that Venera Fens does come in dull still, so
Do I need to go?
we need to point that out. I'll just sort that out.
Yep, and there's the Lena right up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was anticipating. So the Lena will bring back the Gao, and then spends 1, and then spend 2 to bring back the Glaciella, get another crystal again.
We know this play a bit too well, I think, at this
Extremely
point.
well. Extremely well. It's pretty much the water crystal, how you doing play. There's no
I
no
really
real
liked it.
reason.
I really liked it in the wind shell because you can get back.
In wind, you
Gargus
can get
as
back Gargus as well.
Yeah.
What I've found with the wind version is that it kind of falls flat in things to do. So here we've got a Moro, which is actually a really nice hit.
Yeah.
Because it's a haste forward, but it allows the entirety of Tom's board to party with themselves. So it doesn't really.
Yes, you pay 1 to bring back the Gao to make another one, and then you can pay for the 2 after that. You can stack Lenas in any order you want. You can do the pay 2 first or the pay 1 first. As long as you have the crystals at the resolution of the ability, you're good.
So here I probably would attack with the Auron next, but I can understand.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going for the kill here. But if he doesn't, if that Auron, okay, so we got the.
That's why he left it last, because it's the last that you won't die. Oh no!
But the thing is, if he's got EX burst, if he attacks with it first, he needed to attack with it first, but it did, in that point it didn't really matter because it was just Golbez exploding onto the field, just does so much damage. Early and often is what that deck does, and Nathan was caught short throughout a lot of that game.
Just excuse me for a bit.
So we're going to go into game 3. As you can see, the Golbez popping off now. It absolutely is. The deck can just explode out of nowhere and produce a huge amount of forwards very quickly.
It's practically a one-piece combo, and if you can't deal with the combo, you lose.
It is a one-card combo. The way that the deck's built is the only cards that are not forwards that cost 3 or less are Golbez and Moab. Everything else is a forward that costs 3 or less. And it basically means there's like a 95% hit chance in the deck. It's incredible.
Well, I think Nathan's plan was to get back Garciella to kill the Marquise.
But in this particular case, having the Marquis down, forcing all of the forwards to come in dull, basically cut all of the early aggression off at the source.
Yeah.
I was seeing now.
It stalled Nathan a turn that was the turn that was lethal.
Exactly. So in this case, we've got the turn 1 Golbez here. I did notice that Tom kept his hand because that's the only reason to keep that hand, and straight into the Auron afterwards. Very, very smart play.
That's good. There's one thing I don't like about.
And then straight into a Macless. So now, like any early aggression from Nathan is just cut off straight away. There's no real action behind it. Sure, I did notice from the Moab that Nathan searched for a realm to go get himself a couple of monsters. And now the monsters will come in active. It's very important to note that.
But 80% of them are non-forward ones. I think there's only 2
exactly. But in saying that, the monsters themselves will still come in active. So you can search here. You can search for the bomb and the goblin, and then go get another goblin. Okay, so he's gone for Atmos and Goblin here. So he searches for the Goblin, and then what will likely happen is that the third Goblin will get searched for here.
Yeah, and Animos is just amazing in this because you drop the other Goblin to untap your 2 backups to search another Goblin. It's just such a good engine.
Yeah, and then from there you can play the third Goblin. However, in saying that, the Goblins are kind of useless at the moment because 2 of them have to go at Auron.
Yes. And even if they couldn't, it's 2, 4, 6, I believe. 2 damage or 3k? 2 or
They are 3k damage each.
Okay, so they could have possibly gone...
Yeah.
If it
So
wasn't for the
here
Auron.
we're going for the... interesting. So we're going for the 2-drop Goblin that can turn itself into a forward. So that will come in active. But it looks like we're just going to kill the Auron straight away. Which is a good call. And then we can play... Oh, we're playing the Bahamut to get rid of the Golbez. That's very smart.
Yeah, and now we just...
So
Just
basically,
have
we
to deal
just
with the Marquise.
curb the early aggression. So we're swinging with the Maquis, get rid of the Kuchaspel, and yeah, pass the turn.
Just
at that.
doesn't matter in
There's
this.
there's not much in the way of resources that would that they would have from there. So that would be the Goblin. So that
Forward
can turn
one.
itself into a forward for nothing, and then when it attacks, it 1Ks a forward. So it's really unfortunate. I think Tom might have been forced to pitch the Golbez early, or he might have drawn a third Golbez, which looks like is the case.
Yeah, I was
here.
going to say, I saw 3 cards go to bin. There's only one thing he's playing with that.
Absolutely. So now we're moving to the combat step, and we've got a Moro off the top. So this is a really nice play.
And he's
if there's
facing a 3 and a 4k.
Yeah. So here, so we're just chucking the Realm under the bus, and then the Maquis. I'm not sure if that would have been the correct play, to be honest, because then you could have actually, like after the 3rd point of damage, you can switch on the Atmos.
Yeah, so I was wondering, yeah, he would have had 2 attackers if he just let them both through.
But it looks like we're going for Susano, which is going to clean everything up here.
So that's probably why he blocked the first one and didn't care
Yeah.
about.
So now, unfortunately, Tom's actually out of Golbez, which is at this point, there's just not much else that can really be done here.
I assume there's no recursion for it?
There's no recursion for the Golbez. There's no recursion for anything in the deck. We've got
And
a
that
really
would've been-
nice card here, though, Yuzuki, which would have been really nice.
Like,
to turn
yeah,
early
I
on.
was going to say, like, it's a bit late, but unfortunately that would have
Yeah.
been like the perfect one.
So what Yuzuki does is it says that all water forwards just take 2k less damage straight away. But in addition to that, all of your fire forwards don't receive damage from abilities at all.
Yeah, so Susano would have just been...
Susano would have actually...
Only killed one thing?
It wouldn't have killed the Golbez.
It wouldn't have killed the Golbez, it wouldn't have killed the Marquise.
It would have killed.
No,
it would have still killed the Maquis, but it
Isn't
would.
it 8 minus 2?
It's 9k minus 2k.
Oh, my game, okay.
So it still would have gotten the Maquis. So Bahamut will still kill the.
Because it's a summon, not an ability.
Well, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's still taking a lot of damage from that. So yeah, and it's
No, but it's a fire forward, so it takes 0, wouldn't it?
It takes 0 from abilities, but it takes 2k less. Period.
Yeah.
So here we've just got the Porum. Not really much that could be done there. Although
Can turn off the monsters.
the Porum can turn off the monsters, so we're actually losing an attacker here. But Cyan will search for a Samurai, which will...
Guessing Pine. Yeah, I'm guessing Pine.
Yeah, we're going for the Hien here.
Sorry, Hien. As I've said before during this commentating, I don't play the games, I don't know the names very well.
So swinging in with the... And then we're going to try and switch on. At this point, very interesting that he's just not switching it off.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but it might have been something that he missed, but that's okay.
Well, I was saying before, Tom is not like a big player, like he's not been playing consistently.
Yeah, generally he does. He just plays a lot of locals around this area. As far as like doing incredibly well, like I'm super proud of him for doing as well as he has.
Just being
This
where he is right
phenomenal.
now is amazing.
But Nathan Cross is a well-known Australian player.
Yeah.
He does this on the regular. So there, and then we can before, and then we just got the Brynhilda to finish it off.
Or worst case scenario, he also had the Goblin to finish it off as well. but he wants a card draw.
But and at this point, we can just finish it there, and that's the game.
Also, no, that's the other goblin.
Yeah.
Mixing up my goblins.
That's all right though. But big congratulations to Nathan for moving on in that one.
Yeah. Thank you once again for joining me, or you'll be with me for the...
I'll be with you for the duration.
I might be tagging out a bit though. Oh, we got a... Oh no, that's already called that.
Alright.
Yeah, NATO. We've got some NATO fans in the chat. We'll see you guys in a little bit when we do top 4. Huge NATO fan now. Oh.
He's got a growing fan base now.
I will pass on the sentiment to him.
Yeah. We might be back with some interviews between winner and loser.
Actually, do you want me to call over NATO if he wants to have a chat?
Yeah, let's call him over.
And I'll let you take care of that.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I understand it does say be right back on the screen, but we are actually joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, NATO. You've actually got a few fans in the chat.
Yeah? I love that. That's great.
Alright, so tell us a little bit about the deck. It's really quite interesting.
Yeah, so a few of us are on goblins today, different variants, like Sam's on the Ultras goblins that we'll see on stream, Richie's on, similar version to mine. Came apart trying to beat Mono Wind, mainly, and then there was no Mono Wind today. But the advantage that goblins create just by thinning your deck and also just being active threats on board has been really relevant. And obviously, trying to find a Glaciella shell at the start of the set is like really hard, right? Like Wind has some cool cards, Earth's got some really cool crystal cards, obviously Water's in there.
Speaking from experience myself, because I was actually running the Water Lightning version throughout the course of the day, because Lady Lilith is a fantastic way to dump crystals.
It sure is, yeah. So yeah, finding a good Glaciella shell was a big focus of it. So obviously in that deck, you didn't see it in that game, but I've got like backup Luca and stuff too. Like it's pretty heavy on the FFBE focus. Yeah.
Are you actually running the 2-drop backup Fina in your list?
I am.
Because I found that to be incredible.
Yes. Well, the backups are largely irrelevant, right? They either make a crystal or they search something. So playing a Fina is a really low opportunity cost because it's a 2-drop backup. But the high of playing like a Venera and then playing it, or playing like a Glaciella and playing it, is pretty strong, especially against like readier decks. You don't have a really clean way of killing it unless you don't have Choose Haspel. So being able to bounce it, it gives you a turn to, you know, find your answers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Are you running the Adelard in your list as well?
I am,
because that thing seems absolutely dangerous, especially when you got so many goblins in
we went up and back on it, but yeah, honestly, I've doubled like twice today, so I can make the goblins do 12k. Yeah, it's a sick card, and obviously at 6k too with the Luca backup, it's pretty hard to deal with.
Absolutely. A couple more questions. What I've actually found, at the very least in my build, I'm only running the one monster and it's Tross. I found that to be absolutely phenomenal because there's so much incidental bounce in FFBE.
Yeah.
Are you running that as well?
Nah, it was in there up until like 2 days ago. Tross was in there. I went out for a blue worm in the end. I don't think it's wrong to play Tross. I think Tross is really good. I was in there for a while. I went down to 1 Ramada, which was a big reason to drop the Tross.
That's definitely fair.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely good. It's a really strong monster. So.
Yeah. Now to the actual games themselves. What did you think about because you might not be well aware, but I'm actually a very big proponent of that Golbez deck.
Yes.
What did you think of it? How did you find the matchup?
Yeah, I think he got a little unlucky in his matchup spread, and also that obviously everyone told me about what he was running, right? So like I'm mulliganing hands, looking for the Bahamut, looking for Glaciella pretty early to try and deal, because obviously you have to have instant speed or you're just going to get run over. Yeah, and then obviously he bricked pretty hard in game 1 and like didn't find Golbez until it was far too late, which is unfortunate. Obviously he runs 3 Golbez, I assume 3 Melwib.
Yes, there's 3 Melwib in the list.
Yeah, so to not see any of that in the first couple turns is really rough. So first game really wasn't. Second game was obviously messy with like we missed the dulls and stuff. I didn't keep a water card hand, but he played really well. And then third game, I just had the answers like when I needed them. So
yeah. Questions and answers. One of the things that I found actually quite interesting in the second game was Tom decided to use his Golbez to take your Daciela away.
Yes.
In the process, actually sacrificing his Mog. Do you find that Mog might have been a bit of a difficult card to play around? Because you wouldn't have been able to search any of your goblins out.
Yes and no, but playing a 1-drop monster to make them sack a forward is probably fine. To be honest, when he sacked it, I thought I was in a really good position. I was like, oh, that's a sick tempo swing. It was the complete opposite. It was very much downhill from there.
You didn't see another copy of the card or anything like that?
No. So I was like, look, he sacked 4 characters. He took one of mine. That's fine. And then it was actually quite a bit better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, congrats to him. He said he hasn't played much before, I don't think. But yeah. Like
So
competitive.
just for perspective, Tom is actually one of my locals.
Yeah.
He generally just plays like locals and stuff like that. So this is one of his very first large, major, like significant events. So it's actually quite fantastic to see him do as well as he did.
Yeah, topping Swiss is no mean feat, right? Like going undefeated in Swiss, especially with a deck like that. Like there's rumors around the room all day, right? Like some guys on Golbez, like there's a water Golbez deck.
And everybody's just sitting there. What the hell is in this water Golbez deck?
Yeah.
Like how is it doing so well? To that point as well, it only took 3 points of damage all day before the
I heard
top
that
card.
too. Yeah, which is
So it's
impressive.
Very impressive though.
I mean,
I think at that point though, it was sort of because people weren't exactly expecting, because as you mentioned, everybody was planning for mono wind.
Yes.
And then you saw no mono wind at all.
Right?
Over the course of the tournament. So that's another one that's really quite entertaining. Like the fact that you saw 0 mono wind decks.
Yeah, it's very strange, right? Everyone obviously has gone the other direction of like, I'm going to play a deck that's good against mono wind, because obviously the Golbez deck, I assume, has a very good mono wind matchup.
So I like to say with that deck is you're either winning the game by turn 4 or you're dead by turn 4.
Yeah, which is exactly how you want to play against mono wind, right? You want the game over.
You just want to get it all over and done.
There's a few other decks in Top Cut, like if Kahoon's opens Alice early enough, they can really put pressure on mono wind. So it looks like a lot of decks that are like matched quite well into that deck, but then it wasn't here all day. No one played it. So
Mitsuki, you've created a known commodity.
yeah.
And nobody wants to play it anymore. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
Congratulations and all the best for the top 4 for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rob.